Hey, okay, donating your RV. If you have an RV, are you going to donate your RV to healthcare workers? That is the new big thing now. People are donating their past used RVs and donating it to healthcare workers to keep healthcare workers safe and eventually to keep other people safe as well, um, while they're practicing their social distancing. And that is a great idea. But you know what else I thought about? Why not donate your RV to certain shelters, homeless shelters? Like, I couldn't think of anything else, wiser. I mean, we already have ideas to where you can donate certain trailers and things like that. But I mean, trailers wouldn't even be. I don't even see why trailers aren't even one of the top things that was issued out for the homeless community. They're off the streets. I know sometimes you can't stop them from walking around and being on benches. Those are the ones that, will be limited. You will less likely see someone sleeping outside on a bench if you had more RVs or cheap mobile homes that were built with a lot of the necessities that a normal trailer would have. They've already had like little shacks, like tiny house project. Those are like a little bit more smaller. They don't cost much, but they should lower those prices because I feel that if you place a community, if you get a few hundred acres and you place some tiny houses there and they look more like a village full of people who have nowhere to go but they have like little tiny houses, that would develop a plan that will help stimulate the economy, because everyone is now being responsible. They have somewhere safe to go. This does not mean that they cannot have access to like healthcare benefits and things like that, because they're still citizens. And some of them are veterans that are experiencing homelessness also. Um, but I think that would be like a great idea if someone could donate their RV, not only for healthcare workers but for people who are homeless also, because now you have to worry about you're giving them showers in the RV. You're giving them a place to eat. You're giving them a place to sleep. A place to gather information, to store things. Because you see a lot of homeless people would carry their luggages with them everywhere that they go. I've seen some people when I was experiencing homelessness. I've seen some people carry suitcases and another bag and then another duffel bag, and this was every single day. People would carry that with them, and I'm like, why isn't there enough tiny house projects available? And so a lot of time you see a lot of homeless people, they don't have the income. They cannot get certain income access because they have different payees who don't give them what they say that they earned, because either they don't feel like they're going to do the right thing with the money, or they're not able mentally to handle and manage their own money, or they have been incarcerated and have multiple issues regarding getting access, like any other citizen here in America. But the RVs is a really great idea for you to donate for the healthcare workers. They don't want to bring home any type of disease or virus or anything like that contagious back to their home. So why not just have them access um, their home right in the parking lot so that they can get to work and come back and know when to separate themselves. I think that's a really good idea. Um, but I also think it would be a very great idea if they donate RVs for to homeless shelters, not to the homeless person in general, because they may do something else, but let these homeless shelters have access to the RVs and let people stay there. Now, I do understand that you don't want to make a big mess, or have any type of problems because of how inconvenient it may look just having an RV sitting in a parking lot or somewhere. Have a designated area where they can be patrolled and watched, and have them get out on a certain time. Um, because only thing they really need is a place to sleep, take a shower, and eat. So I mean, they can be there inside the RV all day, unless let them be responsible for cleaning up their own, the mess that they've created. It is their space, but this would be great. But I've also see a lot of vacancies, buildings that um have been sitting there in like in a city or in a small town for years, and there's not even being access. I'm like, why not have this whole building for people who are homeless and don't have anywhere to go? Because it's limited access for homeless shelters in a lot of places. Not everyone is going to be there, because some people who don't have a place to go, they either turn to their family, or they turn to a friend, or they sleep in their car and then they make it out there on their own. But eventually some people don't want to be bothered with anybody, and I know by going to a shelter, that's kind of like being bothered by people. But you're more than likely be able to stay to yourself if you were at a shelter than staying to yourself if you was in someone else's house who wanted you to negotiate and conversate when you needed your time to be still and be quiet, and that's very important. Um, I've met some people who were experiencing homelessness as well, and they did not have the companionship of staying to themselves. They needed to be around other people, which did not help them, because they repeated the same cycle over and over again, and before you know it, their business would be in someone else's mind, and they didn't even proceed in the process of which, you know the whole reason for them being in there, it was for them to use that tool as a stepping stone. Yeah, you may talk to some people, but the whole thing was for people to use that resource as a stepping stone and use it to move on forward, not to sit there and negotiate like you're at a playground. You're not there to make friends. You can talk to some people who have a good head on the shoulders, who have good sense, but 98% of your people that come inside of the shelter are not they are not right. You get some people who minds are right. It's just not fair. Some people try to find a great place, a nice environment to lay their head and um, have a relationship with themselves and the people that is trying to help them get better. They don't need to be around people who don't appreciate stuff like that, and that's not really working towards it. And some people are working towards it, or they can't work towards it. Like you know, um, it'll be for nothing for them to work towards something, because their criminal record is enabling them from doing having access to certain things. So it's almost like they'll be lending or leeching off of other people as long as they can, until they find a door breaker that allows them to be responsible and get established based on everything that they're able to put in. A lot of people have to wait for someone to give them something in order for them to move forward, because they have used up all of their time, that like the doors were closing on them. My grandma used to always say, when you're asking someone for something and you're no longer able to get it, you ask this person that you usually ask and you can't get it, and you ask that person, that means that the doors are closing on you, and you have a choice rather to um, call on something else that's going to help you. And that was God at the end of the day. That was God. So I am on that. But you get some people who are experiencing this type of lifestyle, and they don't want to call on God or anything. They're not religious people. They're not very spiritually minded people. So they're not going to want to do that. Um, But what I was getting ready to say is, like I said before, the RV is really good for people to do for the healthcare workers, because just think about it. You need to be more um, um, respectful for healthcare workers, because you have those moments where you don't feel good and you need to go to the hospital, and you know that when you get to the hospital somebody's going to give you something to make you feel better. And what if this nation didn't have a hospital? Some people have, there are some countries there aren't any hospitals, so um the fact that there's medicines that will help us stay alive, and people that's actually there to help you um get better, then I mean, you should have a heart for that. I would definitely have a heart for that. Um, so the RV is what's pushing now. People are starting to use their RVs to help healthcare workers, and I think that'll be the great idea for homeless people as well. Like, allow RVs to be placed at certain places, designated areas, but have it monitored, like have a security there overnight, while they're sleeping, so they won't be, fighting or doing anything like that. Um, don't have no ghetto thug security. Have like a good security. Um, it was another thing. The RVs. It wouldn't be a big deal to have an RV on the property, on the premises of the shelter in the parking lot. So therefore, there would be more secure um, um, stability there, because they will be watched on the property, and because they live inside of the RV, there would be nothing lingering around the RV like trash or anything like that. It'd be easy to clean up. Um, so you would think, but no, it would be a whole lot better for you to relate to what needs to be done within that area. I mean, you could fit about two, three, four people in an RV. Um, and I think that's like I think that's perfect for people who are using RVs. I'm like, why didn't they donate these RVs to people who didn't even have cars already? Like people who like me. Like I remember when I didn't have a car, and um, I was working and trying to keep my job. Um, and still saving money, and still trying to budget, and the best way that I could by myself. And I really, had thoughts about, I wonder who are those nice people who would just like donate a car, or wouldn't mind giving me their car and let me make payments on it or something. Like, you can find that certain places, certain people will actually do that. But I got lucky this time. A church gave me one, like I said before. Woo, praise you, Lord Jesus, thank you. A church ended up giving me a car, but if you don't have a car already, then you should be able to, do that. Insist using your and insist taking your RV, because the coronavirus is going to be over. But insist on starting something new by donating RVs to certain shelters. Make sure that the shelters are not greedy and have um, crooked workers in there, and don't have them try to take the RV and do something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Than what it was intended for. Because you would get some workers that will do that, and I'm like, there is no way in the world that people are going to allow government or donated money be mishandled because of the president or the CEO of the company is never there, and they got someone else hiring there as a superintendent, or an assistant director to manage certain things. And I'm not trying to be colorful, but God, yes, usually it's black people. But no, it could be a whole bunch of it. Color has nothing to do with it. Um, it has to do with the type of person that you are and what you're able to do, and how you oversee, or how you visualize the circumstances of the people. Even if you've been through it or you haven't, you should at least have a heart and do the right thing. So I think RVs would be really, really great for the homeless community. Vacant buildings, people need to start something. I mean, right now, Um, I'm working on something myself on a project of how to get the homeless community um, become unhomeless. They give them a place to stay and they give them toiletry items and things like that. But it's like the biggest problem is when people do not want to. Well, they allow certain individuals to agree and disagree to accept treatment for their mental um, disability. And some people don't understand that, yes, these people have freedom, but what freedom would they have if you don't give them access to mental health so that they can see at least who they are or the morals that they have or the responsibility that they have due to the mental disability that they have. People are still going to need help. Children, they have no say so. They have to take the medicine. But once they're 18 and older and they're at a certain age, some of them are required to take medicine still. But some of them don't even have no one to look back after them to say, hey, are you doing okay? What are you doing? What's going on? We're going to put you in this facility to where you don't have to worry about, housing, anything like that. We just want to monitor you. And you see, those are the ones that need to be in a separate place of homelessness versus people with a good mindset who are not mentally disabled. They need to be in a separate facility. So that needs to happen. So even if it has to be me to do it, I'm pretty sure someone else should be able to do it by now. But that needs to be like in law. That needs to go into effect now, right now, because I've had to experience just being in the presence of people who have a mental disability or who was on strong drugs or who were alcoholics, and I had to sit there and deal with them, knowing that I knew how to use my resources. I knew which way to go, who to stay away from, what sources to use, who to ask for help. And it's like you guys are aiding people who don't care if you aid them or not, because they don't even care about themselves. So place the people who don't even care about themselves in another area. Um, still working with the shelter services, but place them in an area to where even if they don't feel like they're worth anything, the system is going to show them that they're worth something. So at least give them some hope and some insight. On the other hand, you got the other people who believe that within themselves already. They just you know, landing on a hard time to where they're going to need some support, and it doesn't take them that long to get on their feet. So those are the big key things that people miss out on when it comes to helping people do things like that. Um, so yeah, the RVs are a really good idea. I really like the RVs. Um, However, like I said, these vacant buildings, these houses. I mean, the houses is one thing, but the vacant buildings, you guys, I understand you want to stimulate the economy, but these vacancy buildings that has been factory warehouses for years that you're getting ready to renovate anyway and put something in it, make it where you can clean up the people and change the environment around you. Have a good place for people who have been working, who are experiencing homelessness, who are able to use their brain, who have a good mindset. Place them in a place where, hey, I pay your rent up to a month. I see you have your high school diploma. I see that you're the only one in your family that's actually, trying to do something. I don't want to see your life go to waste. I want you to be in a great place. And people will start doing that. And I've encountered people from different churches and organizations that have helped me, and just people like private people, though, people that I didn't even know, like unknown people that I've just met, had came up and helped me do so much stuff, and I felt so good, like, oh my gosh, like you won't even believe it. So it's not about, the RVs may not be all that. I mean, that's really good, but I really want to see them like do that regardless. It's almost like I've been waiting over 5 years, almost 10 years to drive. And all this time, people had cars and RVs in their yard. And here I am making a GoFundMe account, trying to get some money to get me a car. And nobody has donated a car. Or nobody has wrote me and told me this, that, and the third. I do not know. But some people have helped and donated their money to me, and I thank you for the people who have donated because that was showing your love and support. And you already knew how I felt before I even explained anything else further. Even though I explained everything on there, you guys still was able to understand what I was talking about. So I really appreciate those who helped me um, um, get money on my GoFundMe page when I needed help the most. And the same thing can happen with the RVs. The RV, yes, it is one thing to help healthcare workers, but try to use something like really good, like RVs for the homeless community, or and have about 4 or 5. Maybe that's maybe too much. 3 at the max of people in that RV. Um, and people will start to donate more like that. I mean, they're already donating the RVs now. They raised, I'm hearing, like over $1,200 for to help maximize the campaign by donating money to keep it going. And I'm not sure if that's just for to keep up with the RV or to get another RV or because they needed some insurance for what they were getting ready to do. I'm not sure what that was for, but they did have a certain amount of money inside of their budget that was donated, to support the RV for healthcare workers. Um, so it's not nothing really that it's too hard to do. I mean, I know it's a lot of people that have cars and vans and trucks that in their yard that they can fix a little bit and just give it to some people that really need the vehicle and they are trying to get around. Um, they're gonna need a lot more help. Saying, I mean, that's what I'm hearing now. They're gonna need a whole lot more help, and I just feel like, there's a plenty of vacancy buildings out here that people can use as a shelter to protect people because they're just sitting there empty and you've got hundreds of people out there on the street trying to find them a place to go and they're in the cold and I'm like, why not just open up this big old building and have people sleep in there? Each city and each state and each county and each town needs to have at least one mass homeless shelter. Treat homelessness like Walmart, just in case no one has nowhere to go. Treat that like a Walmart, and you're going to see how much money is going to be stimulated to the economy because the government is going to help. Okay, even though they're the ones complaining about economy being stimulated, they're trying to say you guys come up with the money. But at the end of the day, you're going to get those type of people, those nice people that's going to donate anyway. You're going to get people, you get people right now that donate to Walmart and support Walmart. And look how big that thing is. It's just like Amazon. They got enough money. Put something towards helping the people get up off of the streets so that they can not be sitting up there catching diseases, okay, dying from pneumonia, um, hypertension and all that stuff. You guys, you have to understand that it's things out there. Sometimes there are people, good people like me. I've experienced it, so I would like to be placed in a facility that is helpful. It doesn't make sense that you have to go in certain places and they say, well, here's a program, it's better than this program, but if you want to get in this program, you need to tell them that you're on drugs and you're an alcoholic. What? But I'm not. Why can't you just already help me already? Are you serious? I'm showing you everything. I pay my taxes. I graduated high school. I went to college. I just need somewhere to need somewhere to lay my head because I don't have family right now that can actually help me. Everyone's on a fixed income. You see how proper I speak. You know that I'm not a troubled person. I'm not on drugs. I'm not drinking. What can you not do? I'm on social media. I know how to use the computer. Why aren't you helping me? What is this? Well, we had to give you what we have, and right now we're gonna place you in a room full of people who've been in jail and don't know how to appreciate life. Are you serious? That's why I'm saying RVs need to be one of the things that are pushed to help homeless people. If not the RV, open up vacancy buildings that has been sitting there for years that are masked, huge, and let that be like a homeless Walmart. I mean, it sounds kind of weird to say homeless Walmart, but do it like that, okay? Because it's so many people out there. I mean, the person that you help that is homeless, that could be the one person that helped change the world because you got that person off the streets. Okay. Look at how I just said to help someone create a max building. And I have experienced homes before. If that really happens and I create that first, then there you go. But I've already created it because I've shown you how I felt on YouTube. I've explained it to you. So yes, I was the first one, and do know that I do worry about people stealing people's information and trying to get credit for it. I don't care because somebody came up with that idea before I did anyway. I just helped reminded you. But try to do that seriously, and I want you all to just like think about that. But the RVs are a great idea. Let's try to push the agenda up a little bit further. There's some people that you still need to help. Peace, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.